Hi, I'm Kim Fisher-Key. I'm a sport massage therapist, and today I am doing a short video on IT bands. Ta-da! Everybody's favorite. IT band, your iliotibial band. It's not even a muscle, and yet it causes so many challenges for so many of us. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to need a yoga block and a tennis ball. You can also use a lacrosse ball to get started. And I'm going to start with the quick visualization of your IT band. So what we want to do is you want to visualize your IT band. It is a fibrous piece of connected tissue that starts up at the hip and it runs along, and I tell clients this to visualize it as if it's the seam of your pants. So it runs along your side all the way down to a little bit underneath your knee. And it also helps to stabilize your knee actually when you do things like run. And I also like to have clients think about it as kind of a sheath that kind of covers and also involves both the quad and the hamstring as part of their activation as well. So we're going to start at the upper part, and we'll do left and right. And if you feel your hip bone here, you travel down and then you feel a protrusion right there. That's your leg bone, your trochanter. You're going to go underneath the trochanter. So we're not going to actually trigger point on the bone. We're going to trigger point right underneath the bone. Okay? So what we're going to do is use the yoga block as leverage and then lie on it for some trigger point and do some activation techniques to try to decrease the intensity or the tightness in the IT band area. Okay, let's get started. I'm gonna do the left side first, so demo the left side first. And what we wanna do is if you find our hip, and you find the bone, if you go down on the leg, there's gonna be a pokey bone, that's your trochanter or leg bone. You wanna go underneath that bone, so you don't wanna trigger point and put the tennis ball on the bone. You wanna go underneath that, that'll be our point 1. And you want the yoga block to be lengthwise to you, so long way. And then we're gonna basically tennis ball there, and then when you lie on your sides, we're going to kind of go into a side plank. You're going to side plank on top of the yoga block, and that's going to give us a little bit of leverage to do some movement. Okay, so when you get started, you can start up here. You can use your right leg as leverage if you want to, and your arm, but once you get a little bit less intensity here, you can go down your elbow for a side plank. Now this is pretty intense, so I can keep my knee up here. If you want to increase the intensity in this position, you basically lie your leg on top. So now we're in a 90-90 both leg position on top. Take a breath in. And we're sinking. Once you feel that you're sinking in, now we're going to do a little bit of movement. So now you can move up and down. And then you can actually roll forward, center, and then back. So you're getting the point and then the fibers all around the point. And up and down. Okay, so we're going to do 3 points on the IT band, top, middle, bottom. So that was the top. Now we're going to basically go right to the middle of the leg. Tennis ball there, reposition, side plank. And you may find different points have different intensities. So some people, if they have tighter hips, they may feel the trigger point tighter at the hip. People who have tighter shins may feel it down there. So different points on the IT band can actually be of different intensities. So again, your side planking, you can leverage up using the right leg to take off some of the intensity points. If you want to double it, you bring it down. I'm going to go up here because it's going to actually be a little easier for me to move up and down to get the trigger point. And then forward and back. And I'm not going to lie, the middle one's a little bit more intense than the top. Okay, and come off. And then the last one. Now the last point, actually, we're gonna switch the yoga block to horizontal towards you because we're gonna try to do a little bit of a leg movement in and out. So the knee, we're not gonna put it on the bone. You're gonna come up into the more fleshy part. That will be point 3. Get it situated and set up. And then lay on the side, side plank. I'm gonna leverage with the right leg. To roll. Up, down, and then forward, back. Okay, now in this position as well, we're gonna take the left leg and you're gonna do mini in outs. So kind of like you're kicking a little soccer ball. Roll up, down, kick soccer ball, breathe, and then come off. And to the other side. So position it lengthwise. You still have your ball, kind of where you're gonna have to start. And then you're gonna side plank and lie down, right on top of it. So depending on how tight your IT band is, you can side plank with the elbow. You can 90-90 your legs on top of it, because of course the leg on top is gonna add some pressure to the trigger point on the opposite leg. If this is too intense, you can actually hold your hand up and or leverage your left leg. So this will take most of the pressure off that point if you need some time to let it sink in. Everybody's tissue is different. I can do side plank and sink down, only because I've been doing this with clients on Zoom, and it's not fun, but we're all in this together. So I'm in a 90-90, and once you sink in, take a couple breaths. Now, in order to do a little bit of active motion, I am gonna come back up and leverage so I can roll. And it's just mini rolls, it's not large rolls. We're just trying to get some of the intensity and the tissue around that main point. And then you're gonna come forward. So here you roll forward, you roll back, you roll forward, you roll back. Okay, now we're gonna come up and do the middle. So top, middle of IT band, which I know is probably gonna feel a little worse for me. So different points in IT band can feel different. Set yourself up, middle, and then lay. Side plank. This one is tighter, so I am not going to leverage myself with extra weight. I'm gonna keep it up and then roll up and down. And breathe. Breathing is definitely necessary. And then we're gonna roll forward, roll back, roll forward, roll back, and then a little up, down. And then our last point down towards the knee, where again, we're not gonna go on the bone, we're coming a little bit up. At this point, you're gonna move your yoga block so it's horizontal to you. Position. And side plank. Now again, I have a little bit tighter IT bands towards my knee instead of my hips, and so you can leverage yourself down to start and give yourself a chance to sink in with double. I am not going to do that. The tissue needs a little time to warm up before I give it that extra intensity. Now in this position, you are gonna eventually, if you're doing double, you're gonna wanna bring your leg up for leverage, because we're gonna mini kick soccer balls at this point with the lower leg. So kick forward, back, kick forward, back, kick forward, back. And then roll up, down. And come off. Okay, so after that fun IT band trigger point release exercise, which everybody is feeling so much better about already, I want to do a quick review about the IT band. The IT band is not a muscle. It is a fibrous piece of connective tissue that comes from the hip and attaches all the way down the leg underneath the knee. It helps with a couple functions of hip movement. Runners typically have an issue with IT bands, sometimes up at the hip, sometimes up at the knee, depending on what their body pattern is at the time of their training. And you can't necessarily stretch an IT band, but you can help decrease the restriction that it's creating around those movements and some of the other muscles that play into that. Thanks very much and have fun trigger pointing IT bands.